There have been many great civilizations in the history, like Rome, 2,500 years old, Greece, 3,000 years old, Persia, 3,000 years old, China, 4,000 years old, Mayan, 4,500 years old, and Egypt, 5,000 years old. But how old is the Indian civilization? Is it 5,000, 10,000, or like a lot of Indian conspirators believe, 100,000 years old? Well, it's a very difficult question to answer. But today, we will look at the facts and research done towards dating Indian civilization. No conspiracy theories or ego boosting unproven facts, which might be true but not yet proven. So let's look at the facts that have already been researched and proven. Hi guys, this is Harry, and thanks for joining in for another video. Before we start, I'd just like to know if you would like me to continue making videos in English or you want me to switch to Hindi. Please do comment. As we know, the origin of Homo sapiens was from Africa, time dated around 200,000 years ago. During the Great Migration, it is established that they reached India around 50,000 to 70,000 years ago, where they survived the colossal Toba volcanic eruption, which is considered as the most catastrophic event of human history that could have wiped us from this planet. So, 50 to 70,000 years is a massive timeline of 25,000 years. But let's narrow it down to scientifically proven dating of genetics. Genetic research done for the lineage of Indian male date back to around 60,000 years. And then explosion of Indian population around the world is dated around 50,000 years. Yes, explosion of Indian population to rest of the world from India. Let's try and understand what this research uncovered. So a male has X and Y chromosomes in sperm cell, where Y chromosome is transferred from father to son. That's why it's easy to track the parental lineage of any mammal. For females, they have mitochondrial DNA, which is passed from mother to daughter, that help us dating the maternal lineage of girls. The lineage of South and Southeastern Asia is a type of Y chromosome known as haplogroup F, which appeared in India around 60,000 years ago, and it spread to the rest of Asia and Europe. In females, we have a haplogroup M and N that expanded out of India and account for 100% of non-African origin females in the world. After the migration, we have no written proofs, or till now, we haven't uncovered much about the life of human in this era. However, we have uncovered a lot of cave paintings, like in Bhimbetka, which are dated 40,000 to 30,000 years old, and 100,000 years old tools have been recently discovered in Aravlis near Gurgaon. But let's look at some writings which can help us date a flourishing and well managed civilization in India. Let's date the Vedas. Major Western historians used to date it to 1500 to 1200 BC. However, recently, they have accepted the date to be older than 6000 BC. Saraswati is depicted as a major river in ancient India, which is said to have dried in 2400 BC. But when we look at the depiction of Saraswati in Rigved, it is described as a violent and massive river, which caused a lot of floods in the region. Saraswati was so massive around 6000 BC and later started reducing its volume. So, definitely, the Vedas are older than 6000 BC. So, just a fun fact. According to the Western historians, writing was invented in 2400 BC in Persia. But in India, long before Europeans knew how to wipe their poop, we had Sanskrit, and now it is established as the oldest language in the world. Now, let's look at Surya Siddhanta. But what is Surya Siddhanta? It's a book with advanced knowledge of our solar system. It's the first written calculation of distance between Earth and Sun and explains summer and winter solstice. Not only this, it has pretty complex trigonometric expressions. In brief, it's a pocketbook for a learned astronomer with complex math. According to Kim Plofker, Surya Siddhanta was dated 500 580 But Nileshok, who has done extensive research in dating Surya Siddhanta, according to him, it was written around 14,500 to 12,000 BC. I'll leave a link in the description to his video if you would like to know more about his research. Now let's move to Harappan civilization, also known as Indus Valley civilization. Very few sites have been excavated till date, but of whatever we know is that it was the most organized and urban civilization ever seen in history. There are a lot of mysteries to this civilization, but we are very close to deciphering its language, and maybe a lot of our questions will be answered after that. Well, it was a center of the world in its time. It had the best drainage system, multi story buildings, industrial compounds, and a lot of immigrants used to come to Harappa. Now, dating the Harappan civilization, the peak of Harappan civilization is considered around 3500 BC. And according to the latest archaeological evidence, earliest excavated site of Bhirana in Haryana marks a date back to 7030 BC. So far, we have only excavated 1% of the civilization, so the dates can go back far, more than we can ever imagine. Let's very briefly talk about Ramayana and Mahabharata. Currently, as of today, we don't have any concrete proof that they were only stories or poems or if they were really part of history. But we have some evidence. In Ramayana, we are told of a bridge built between Lanka and Rameshwaram to connect the subcontinent to the Lankan island. This bridge has been discovered and can be seen from space. After dating the bridge, team of Indiana University Northwest, University of Colorado Boulder, and Southern Oregon University dated the bridge to 5000 BC or older. In Mahabharata, Arjun describes earthquake-like situation in the city of Dwarka and sinking of the mighty city. Today, we have proofs that there is indeed a sunken city on the coast of Gujarat in current Dwarka. However, we have still not been able to date it properly. But is this enough evidence to prove that it happened? I don't know. I leave it for you to decide. Indian culture is very rich and ancient. India is the oldest continuous civilization, and we find some or the other evidence of establishments in India no matter how far we look back in the human history. But why there is not enough proof? Why we don't have enough evidence, and why we have to keep proving to the Western powers about our culture? Well, the answer is simple and is hidden in our past and present. If I ask you, where do you think history books are kept? Where can you find information about anything? Well, now we have internet, but what about before internet? It was libraries and universities. Takshashila, Mithila, Tikhara, Shadrapit, Nalanda, Vallabhi, Pushpagiri, Udantapuri, and Vikranchala were the ancient Indian universities, which were best in the world and attracted a lot of foreign students. Majority of Indian textbooks and manuscripts were kept here, but all these universities were burnt and destroyed by invaders. Be it Turkish or Britishers, majority of Indian history and text were lost. And none of the government post-colonial era ever have shown any interest to look for the truth. Minimal funding and politics is the major reason we find it so difficult to collect proofs of our amazing history and culture. Well, thanks a lot for joining up till the end. Make sure you like the video if you think it was knowledgeable and drop a sub if you like history and geopolitics. This is Harry signing off. Thank you. Take care.